Welcome to TWIOCH Season 2, Episode 1.
We're going to be talking about racism, remasters, and resurrection this week.
That's right. Stay tuned.
This week in our collective heads, wanna put an old rumor to bed. Stereotype that you've all heard, how we're all just angry video game nerds. Most of us have actual jobs, kids and families and cats and dogs, yeah. This week in our collective heads, this week in our collective heads.
Welcome to This Week in Our Collective Heads. I'm Patrick, and this is Kevin, the man who has as much hair on his head that I do on my back.
More.
No. You have as much hair.
Yeah, I hope I have more than you have on your back. Anyway, welcome to episode 102?
103. I think we're going to call this Season 2, Episode 1.
Season 2, Episode 1. Yeah, sure, why not?
We meant to categorize these by seasons, and we never did. So now we're going to do that.
Okay,
It'd be funny if we called this Season 3, Episode 1, just to confuse people. Seasons are every year. We've been doing this for...
They're confused anyway.
Yeah, it's true. So Season 2, Episode 1, which means it's an even bigger and better podcast and YouTube channel and everything else.
Speaking of bigger and better, did you ever play American McGhee's Alice?
I did not. I've heard really good things
so
about
good.
it.
I love... Okay, Lewis Carroll's work is just, like... ready for exactly this kind of twisted interpretation of it. And I like the original. I like the Disney one. I like the one that has Martin Short as the Mad Hatter.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It also has Whoopi Goldberg as the Cheshire Cat.
Yes, I've seen that one. Yeah. Sorry.
And an invitation from the Queen to play croquet. One of my favorite comedy scenes ever. Yeah. But anyway, like I like all the different versions that I've seen. And American McGhee's Alice was like a Tim Burton Scarecrow Nightmare-esque style version of it. Like she's in the loony bin. And
more in the dark than the whimsy.
Yeah.
Because through Looking at Glass has always had that darkness within the whimsy, and this has kind of flipped it. It's it's more dark. I like it though. And yeah, it was a really fun game, and also there were a lot of like little nods to specific things that only people who were like really into the source material would get. Yeah. And it wasn't like hitting you over the head with it, although she did hit you over the head with croquet mallets. Of course.
But yeah, like it's really good. And the only reason we're talking about this is because I'm a huge fan of this series. American McGhee has said that he would like to do another Alice game. So we don't have funding, we don't have development or anything, but if this is a thing that you would like to happen, reach out to EA. EA is the one that holds the rights to that, and support him. You know, reach out to him on Twitter and be like, hey, yes, please give us this, and we will throw money at you.
It's the beauty of Twitter. You can actually, really push an idea and show that there are people out there who will buy a product.
Absolutely. Which
normally they may have not thought about. A product that I will probably buy is SteamWorld Dig 2.
Yes.
Because I really like SteamWorld Dig, and the I really enjoyed the gameplay for this when playing it on Vita, and this is going to be coming out on Switch on September 21st, and then on PS4 and Vita.
And Vita.
Yep, and Vita, which I really liked it as a handheld. I'll probably get this on Switch again, so it's coming out really soon, and I think it lent itself really well to a handheld. It's not bad for a on the big screen or anything, but with Switch, I can do both.
And SteamWorld Heist is interesting. It's fun, but it is a completely different game than SteamWorld Dig was. And SteamWorld Dig has a wonderful charm, and I enjoyed my time with it more than SteamWorld Heist. Yep. So I'm looking forward to this. I'll buy it, and I'll let you guys know how it is.
Another thing I know you're going to buy is Bumbo.
Yes.
I mean, so recently Macmillan mentioned that it's basically going to be a sequel. It's a prequel to Binding of Isaac. This is coming out. That's coming out by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Also, Afterbirth Plus is coming to PS4 September 19th.
Yes.
So that's coming out soon to tide you over before Bumbo. So I don't think I've I don't think I've not liked any of his games. Like, I've really enjoyed every game that I've played that he's done. So,
how far back have you gone?
Super Meat Boy. What was before Super Meat Boy? I'm trying to remember.
There's a bunch of weird ones, like the one where you take the individual spider legs and move them one at a time.
No, I haven't played that.
Okay.
So there's some
he
old ones
has a lot of like weird stuff out there. And so yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I'm also really curious where Bumbo like works into the lore, because I got deep enough that I have theories on what happened, when it happened, how it happened.
Yeah.
And so
see if
I think
right.
Yeah, and I think it would be really interesting to see if it's just if Isaac, his mom and dad are actually going to be part of the lore, or is it going to be like the underworld that is part of the lore. So we'll see how they tie together. And I will dig in and again let you know.
I know I've already pre-ordered this. I don't know if you pre-ordered South Park, didn't you?
Yeah, like 2 years ago, and then they said it's not coming out forever, and so I canceled my pre-order and used my money somewhere else.
Well, I pre-ordered it. I'm still waiting. I got my because I've been playing Stick of Truth, but actually I think they took that away when they canceled my pre-order. I'll have to double check on that. But the South Park game, they did come out recently. Actually, Eurogamer, this is Eurogamer's footage, so if we get taken down for that, I'm sorry, but I'll put something else up. So when they were going through all of this, and other people reported this as well, but when you want to pick your difficulty, the more difficult the game is, the darker your skin is.
Right.
Which is...
And there's actually... you can't hear it here, but Cartman actually says, this doesn't affect combat. It just makes everything else more difficult. And I thought it's another example of Parker and Stone using their material for social commentary. And I really love that. And there's also your character is going to be the same character if you played Stick of Truth from Stick of Truth.
It'd be the same. Okay.
Regardless of what gender you pick. And if you change genders, then it's going to be trans, and so
Oh, interesting.
So and there's going to be commentary about it, and so I'm really looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with it, because I love the way that they work to make actual statements. It's more than just acknowledging that things exist. We have to make statements about them and say that, hey, you know what? Life is harder for people that don't look like us. Like, I get that, and that's something that we have to say. But anyway, so that's
a soapbox. That's a soapbox for another time. But
right, I just kind of kickstanded.
Sure. I will say that now I do want to play. I want to finish on my PS4. Finish my Stick of Truth playthrough.
Yeah.
That way my character can trans, and I will be trans at that point, because I'm playing a boy. If I play a girl, I want to see what they say about it now. That's really interesting.
So that'll be fun.
Yeah, it will be. Another game that I really enjoyed playing quite a while ago,
and that I didn't play,
and that you didn't play, is L.A. Noire.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the storytelling. I think Rockstar did a great job on this. The storytelling and the environment are fantastic in it. The choices when it comes to dialogue, that as you investigate different cases, I really liked it. I think that it's a little dated now, which is why I'm glad that we're getting a quasi remaster.
Yeah, and they said that they've brought up the textures from the original Team Bondi stuff.
Yeah,
and I think that that's going to be really good, because some of the game mechanics are really going to be enhanced by this, because they actually did like. It wasn't just mocap; they were actually like filming the faces, and I think that it'll be. I think that the game could actually be a little bit easier because you're able to read them because you can see them better.
I hope so. I think the tells were kind of obvious to an extent, but I think it'll help. I think that also it'll help the textures, and I don't know, to help it look less plastic, because that was one thing that I'm hoping. I know they did the mocap, but it's older mocap, so I don't know how much they really got of the emotes. So the textures may be better, but I have a feeling that the actual facial movement will be the same, because the amount of work it would take to redo all of that would be like redoing the entire game. So that's my opinion on it. I hope they'll fix driving, though, because driving really sucked in it.
Maybe they'll give you auto drive like Far Cry.
Maybe. why do I feel like they gave an option to do that? I can't remember offhand. I'll think about that later. But one thing I definitely think about now is God of War, because the new God of War coming out, which we've been talking about for a little while, is set in the Norse mythology, and to back that up, they now have a podcast, The Lost Pages of Norse Myth, and to get people into the mythology, to get people ready for the environment, which I think is smart, because I think these are myths that a lot of us haven't heard, which is one thing that I'm really excited about when it comes to this.
Yeah, definitely.
Is I grew up with the Greek and Roman myths, and I heard a little bit of the Norse stuff.
Yeah.
But I didn't get to dive.
But I would imagine that mostly you know the Marvel version of the Norse myths.
Yeah, a little bit.
So I guess you didn't actually listen to the podcast.
I haven't listened to the podcast
Okay,
yet.
so that's how they marketed it. That's how they told us it was going to be. It's like a 30-minute podcast.
Okay.
I was really hoping when Halo came out, they did like a substantial series that was like fully voiced and storied and everything. That's what I was hoping we were going to get.
Okay.
They kind of tell a story for the first 5 minutes, and then they talk to the devs. That was a bummer.
That's disappointing.
That was a bummer.
I was hoping that it was, we can talk to the devs every now and then, but like specifically, like it's like you're talking about this myth, you're talking about this creature, this beast, and then you cut to one of the devs talking about how they incorporated it and how they really, and just that bit. I don't need to know more.
Yeah, so the story that they told was Groa, who is a seer, and they talked about her quest for knowledge. The only thing that she knows is that her husband was wounded. Thor was carrying him back on a basket. He lost her husband, and he now just has a basket. He's like, sorry.
Whoops.
And she's trying to develop her seeing power.
Okay.
And then she reaches a point where she's able to actually see Ragnarok, and Odin's like, hey, tell me what you saw. She's like, no. And he bashes her head in. And I'm like, okay, all right, that's cool.
I love that.
Yeah, but like it's just this little snippet, and then what they really want you to listen to is the dev talk. And
Ragnarok, by the way, is basically the end of times. But
it's the final. It's the final battle.
The final battle, yeah. So Odin was wanting to know what was going to happen, and yeah.
But I do like. Actually, in the original Norse, because I went and looked it up, because that's what I do. I research stuff. Thor totally killed her husband.
Oh,
and
really?
dumped his body and just came back and was like, I lost him. I don't know where he's at.
Well, what did he do? Did he mouth off or something?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
I'm curious about that.
Maybe he just... I don't know.
I'm curious
Maybe he insulted Mjolnir.
He could have. But see, that is a Marvel construct. Jack Kirby came up with that, which I think is cool, because it's like this made-up gibberish. He called it something... Oh, sorry. He called it something else that was gibberish, and then they used Mjolnir. What was it? I think that Mjolnir is possibly the title, but yeah, they were just starting making up stuff and trying to get it to stick. DC did the same thing. I mean, DC has a Thor and a Hercules, and they just suck. So, sorry,
and,
DC.
And that is, DC also has the worst version of the God of War, Ares. Their Ares is not. Nope.
Yeah, I'd prefer the God of War.
But speaking of garbage stuff, so El Shaddai is my favorite bad game ever.
Yeah.
Like, you love bad movies. This El Shaddai is a terrible game. It's awful.
But a unique setup.
Yeah. It's a battle between heaven and hell, and the archangels are geese, and Satan's wandering around calling God on his cell phone in his jeans and black shirt, and like this game was just absolutely ridiculous, and I loved it.
Yeah.
There's like a Tron bike section, never explained, no setup, no anything. It's pretty wonderful.
Yeah.
So The Lost Child is being released by the same developer, same
Publisher?
director.
Okay.
And so he's doing this, and this is going to be like a dungeon crawling, monster collecting, ability building thing. But it's still going to be in the same universe, which means that it's going to have every bit as much ridiculousness. And so I will be buying the crap out of this.
Yeah.
And this was also one of the first games that I ever saw, because it was released on PS3, and it was only $20.
Yeah.
When it first came out, and they were like, "Hey, this is a game. We had a small team. We built this thing.
Yeah.
You want to buy it?"
I
heard about, Ascension of the Metatron, and I was like, based on Mormon. Okay. So started reading it, and it's some weird stuff. If you still have access to your PS3, I highly encourage you to pick this up and just marvel at the ludicrousness that is in this.
Yeah. And I think that's one thing that we're getting again. We haven't had that AA, I don't even know if I'd consider this around AA, maybe A. It's not an indie.
It's 3D, but it is absolutely an indie, because they had the background and everything, but the level design and the corridors that you're going down are very, very simple and rigid.
Gotcha.
You're running on a bridge, you run along a curved bridge to this round platform, and then you have 2 exits from there, and you run along that bridge to a thing over here, and it's very simple, but it's charming, it's entertaining, and it's laughing.
Yeah,
lots of laughing.
Yeah, lots of it.
So, speaking of laughing, Malaysia is not laughing.
No.
There's a game called Fight of the Gods, I think. Yeah. And it has Jesus and Buddha and gods from all these different religions in a fighting game, and the ultimates are hilarious, and it's basically fighting for the I don't know, they're fighting, they're gods.
They're gods of.
And so Malaysia said, "Hey, this is blasphemy. Steam, get out."
Yeah, literally, they didn't ban the game. They banned Steam.
Right, they shut Steam down.
Yeah,
and
for this reason right here, because all of the others were more, more ancient or dead religions, if you will. Not necessarily completely dead, but once Christianity came in there, it was nope.
So that got censored, and they shut it down. And Fight of the Gods that developer actually contacted Steam, and they were like, "Please take our game down. This is not what we intended, and we don't want other people to have to suffer because of this thing that we did. Mm-hmm. This is not what we're going for. Please let Malaysian people play games."
Yeah,
and they were on top of this.
They will go somewhere else.
Yeah, they got the attention of Steam, and they let them know that this was a thing that people were feeding back, because they get less feedback than Steam does. So they were able to filter it out pretty quick and be like, "Hey, this is a thing that just happened."
Yeah.
And Steam was able to take it down in that area, and Steam is back up.
Yeah.
And
if they thankfully, so they took it down just in Malaysia. Was that right?
Right.
Or, okay.
Malaysia has its state-run access to the internet, and so they were like, Steam is not there.
Yeah.
Well, Steam doesn't exist anymore.
I meant how Steam views them. So Steam has a region based on just that. Okay.
Right.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, because in that case, I want everything to be accessible to everyone, but unfortunately, with countries like Malaysia and China, the way that their government works, you get what they want you to get, and if they think that it's that it is something acceptable. So I'm glad that at least they got Steam back, because that would have sucked for any gamers there who are playing PC unless they're playing Blizzard games. Because other than that, I guess Origin, but I don't really care about Origin. But it's Blizzard. So everyone just went to Overwatch for a while.
In theory.
What else are you gonna do?
So,
StarCraft would be big. Is big there. So
So not a whole lot of news, but some interesting things that we enjoyed and we like discussing with you. So let us know in the comments what you think about that, and we will talk to you later.
Bye.